Good evening, everyone. Ed Raymer here with you. I can barely hear myself. Okay, I'm going to have to turn that up. There it is. All right, Ed Raymer here with you for the Ed and Lee Raymer Show. We're glad to be here with you another Sunday night, and we are going to shift gears a lot. We're not necessarily going to talk about politics tonight or anything like that. We're not going to necessarily discuss religion. We're going to discuss a good friend that was with us and taken from us back in, I think you said October, was it,
yes.
Sally? Sally Davis, Sally Franklin, you're here with us. Sally, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us.
Ed.
Move a little closer to that mic, if you will.
Thank you
or
very
you can
much,
pull
Ed.
it closer to you.
Okay.
Whatever. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm happy to be here and see you, Ed.
Well,
it's been a while.
It has been a while. I think the last time we saw each other, one of our friends, Stephen Reynolds, had suffered a defeat for the second time, I believe, and that was several years ago now.
It was several years ago.
And the best I remember, you were
pre-pandemic.
Cussing out in the middle of Main Street. As best I remember.
Yeah, we were. And you know what?
I don't mean to tell
Not
on
to
you,
get
but
off
it's
track
funny.
too much. I know we're going to talk about Candy, but this really does relate to how we met, how you and I met, because we met together with Candy, and you know, Candy and I were so happy to see, you know, people involved. And Kenny and I got involved and made some great friends. And really, the only reason why I laugh is, I mean, you and I are still alive. Stephen and Shelley are still alive, but none of the marriages are still alive. You're still married, right?
Oh yeah, 44.
So
we'll be 44 years if she lets me hang around that long.
Good,
okay?
good.
Yeah.
She's a good one.
She's a good lady.
She's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. She is. You've never met her, have you?
I don't think I've ever met her, but I know if she's been dealing with you for 44 years, she's got to be amazing. So.
She is. What do you think about me? Well, never mind. Let's move on. Let's talk about something more positive, like Candy. How about that? Candy Robbins, who was with us.
Yes.
And this is what we're going to do, folks. This is a tribute show, a memorial show. I don't like to get into this downbeating thing because this lady was not, and she was on January 28th, was it, of 2020. You can go back, and I went back and watched it last night.
I did too. It was really good.
I would have never known
really
that.
Good.
I'd never known that young lady had a problem with her body at all. From her, she never.
Yeah. So
never complained, never explained. Just keep going and don't ask any, whatever.
She really did, and I learned in her writings, and something that I'll probably share today is that she was like 33 when she had her first stroke. And one thing that comes behind that, and a lot of people don't know this, is depression and anxiety.
Right.
And Candy was never an anxious person that I remember in college. So I met her in 1992, Middle Tennessee State University. Right. Candy is a graduate of Oakland High School.
Right.
Here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, was a half-timer into drama. And then she and I both went to MTSU and graduated with fashion merchandising degrees.
Okay.
And when I met Candy the first time I saw her, I knew she was super special.
Yep.
And I mentioned this, when I talked about her at her funeral, is, they called us back then them damn biracials, right?
Biracials.
So it was me and this Blasian that I dated, and Candy and this white man, and we would just go around and go out, and we were just a big group of biracial friends on campus.
Right, sure.
And that's really who we were, and stayed that a group of friends until, even now, right? She's in my heart. She's here all the time.
Sure,
so,
sure.
Had a lot of fun on campus, and what a lot of people don't know, and really why I wanted to be here, was to honor the creative side of Candy, the artist side.
Right.
By the time you met her and we got involved in politics, she was working as a professional, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I don't think politics was really her forte. She was more of the arts than anything. You know, I believe. Just from what I've learned from you in the last, really the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was not a she was political, but in her own way, and she kept pretty much her comments to herself. I mean, she wasn't like me out here banging the drum, or maybe even you to some extent. I mean, because we've got pretty loud drums sometimes. But I'll tell you what, let's do. Sally is here with us, and we're going to, Connor, go ahead and put us officially on the air, launch the show, and I'll do it right now. My name is Emily, but for right now, I'm still a private investigator. And yes, welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your Good Neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS.
And that's a little rock and roll kick off your Sunday night. And this is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show, and I'm your host, Ed Raymer. The show's produced at the studios of WGNS, AM 1450, 100.5, 101.9 FM, right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Now, you can reach us tonight with your comments and your thoughts about Candy or anything else at 615-893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. And you can also send us a text to that number. And our producer, Mr. Connor here, who's on the board, doing a great job, he will be glad to give it to us. Me or Sally will be glad to read it over the air, or he'll read it for you. For those of you that may be a little too high or too shy to be on the air with us. And we certainly understand that. As you know, my guest is Sally Franklin. She's right here with us. Going to be talking, already been talking to her. We'll talk to her some more in just a minute. Now, how do you reach us? How do you find us? Okay, some of you already are, but you can hear us on that little rectangular device in your dashboard of your car. If you'll press a button that's called a radio, and there are sounds that can come out of it, okay? And a lot of people are going back and listening on the good old-fashioned, believe it or not, AM radio, AM 1450. You can find us. We simulcast on 3 different frequencies here, and also FM 100.5 and 101.9 right here. In Murfreesboro, Tennessee, we cover all of Rutherford County and just a little bit more. You can also find us on Facebook Live, okay? At Facebook Live, and look for the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Is that right, Connor? The Edwin Lee Raymer Show on Facebook Live. Or you can go to YouTube at News Radio, WGNS, okay? And then you can scroll down and you can hear us. You can watch us live on YouTube, or you can watch us later on if you'd like to. They're all cataloged there on YouTube, courtesy of the station. And, of course, you can go to the good old website, WGNSradio.com, scroll over to Listen Live, and that will take care of you. And we're here, Sally Franklin. Sally, thank you for doing this. We've talked about this for a while now. We've let things sort of lay. And maybe it's time to go ahead and do it. Why are you here tonight? Tell me.
I'm really here, like I said, to honor Candy's creative side and share with a lot of people what she was doing, I would say, before the internet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I have these playbills from Gorgeous, and this was 2006, 2007.
Sure.
And so a lot of the things that she did was before, it was on the internet. And so by the time the internet came around and we had Facebook and MySpace, and sure you had a MySpace, we probably all did, and
well,
they still.
I don't know what it is, but the Stitcher and all that stuff, we've got it,
She really wasn't into that, right? She wasn't into social media as much. She was really into real life experiences and really into watching movies and creative and being writing and things like that. So she wrote lots of scripts. I would say probably at least 6 or 8 scripts.
Right.
And like I said, I think there will be people calling in to talk about they've been in shows with her here in Murfreesboro. Even she had a show called The Red Light District, and there was a theme to some of her shows, even Gorgeous.
Sure.
Things started out to be a little biographical. So she had something called Diabolical Daddy. It was one of her first plays, and
And she did all the writing on these.
Yes.
Great day, really.
She wrote all of these plays herself, all the scripts herself.
See, I never knew that about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never did.
And she talks a lot in this Theater Voice article that somebody kept, and I read an excerpt from that, she started writing because her mother was in nursing school at Tennessee State University. And if Candy didn't get her writing correct, she would have to write it over and over again. And so I think that was something that came from maybe discipline and her mom being in school. And so she started writing over and over then until perfection, and then really loved having a creative outlet. Really loved that.
That's amazing. I never knew that about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was amazing. And you can see those when she was here. The one thing I always went back and looked at when I watched the broadcast last night, back when she was here in 2023, was her eyes were so big. I mean, the excitement. The excitement of whatever she was doing.
Right. And how I really want to honor her is unconditional love. Candy taught me unconditional love, and she was unconditional love. And you saw that in her eyes. And why I guess I can sit here today at peace is because I know she's found that unconditional love. Not here on earth, right?
Yeah, that's right.
She's not dealing with being gaslit at the highest level.
Exactly right.
You know,
she doesn't
whatever's
have to worry about
going on,
elections.
wherever she is, she's not worrying about, trying to figure out how to pay for her insulin, things that us Americans, even us, college educated, homeowner, professional Americans are dealing with, right? Like nobody would think somebody like Candy would have issues sometimes figuring out whether she's going to buy a meal or, her medications. And, that's the situation that she was in. And we all knew that.
I did not.
Well, of course, it's not something she would take to social media or talk to you about, but it's something that, I know a lot of people that struggle with that. And she worked for a healthcare company, a big hospital and education group, So, that's one of the other things that I think motivates me is, it's motivated me to get my health together, my mental health together, my physical health together. I took a time out this summer and just spent time at the lake, which is what Candy and I did during the summers. As soon as it warmed up enough, sometimes when it wasn't even that warm, we'd bundled up and go out on the lake and color and draw and talk and dream like she was dreaming when she came on this show with you, right?
Sure, right, yes.
And
exactly.
That's really what I love about her is, her ability to us to be together and dream and to think big and push each other to do big things.
We've got someone on the phone. Who do we have, Connor? Do you know? Well,
a friend of Candy.
Okay. Put them on, please. Hello, caller. You're on the air live. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Sean Witzel. I was a friend of Candy's, and we were a group of founders who founded the Shades of Black Theater Festival in Nashville.
Okay, in Nashville. Okay. Sean, do you know this lady with me? You know Sally?
I do. I know Sally. And I
know I'm sorry to hear that, but there's nothing I can do about that, and I apologize, but no, she's great. She's great. Tell us your story. Speak to us, friend. Tell us what you know.
Yeah, I met Candy in, I want to say the year was 2000. It may have been 99, but I'm leaning toward 2000. She and I were cast in the August Wilson's piano lesson that was at the Center for the Arts in Murfreesboro. And I was an actor. I was 18 or 19 at the time. I was, but I had never been in a production with all adults. And there was one other, I was an adult technically, but I was a teenager. I was in college, and everyone else was older than me. And there was this moment, Candy had so much passion for theater and the arts. She had a twinkle in those big eyes. She had ideas. She had excitement.
Yep.
And she made me feel comfortable. Everyone in that cast was very warm and welcoming, but she was very even beyond everyone else. And I remember there was this moment where we had to kiss, and I was so intimidated. I had never done a stage kiss and all this stuff. And so I was freezing up. I was tensing up, especially Candy was a little bit older than me. She was married. So I'm just this intimidated kid.
That makes it even better. Yeah. I see your friend back here shaking his head. Yeah, it makes you better. I'm just kidding you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just remember she just saw how kind of stressed out I was with like everybody looking at us. So she was like, give us 1 second. So she took me around the corner and she was like, just kiss me, you know.
Yeah.
She did the kiss, you know, right there. And then she was like, okay, now come on. And then we went back to the stage and that's it. And that was the type of person she was. She wanted to make sure that the people around her were taken care of and got what they needed in order to do the work that we were doing.
You know, you have just given me a great idea, and I'm going to start it tonight. I'm going to start kissing every female on here before we go on there and when we leave, okay? You've got a great idea there. Thank you.
You better be careful.
That's okay.
Don't get in trouble.
My wife knows me. I'm no danger. And and Sally probably knows by now, too. You know. Anyway, thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it so much. And she was just, I went back last night, and Sally and I have talked about this. We talked about this several months ago, really. Mm-hmm. We mentioned it after she passed. And we've given it some time. And I think enough time is probably appropriate. It's not bad. And we thank you so much for calling and sharing your stories. Anything else? Share with us.
Yeah, I'll just say this one thing before I go. And like I mentioned earlier that Candy was a founder of the Shades of Black Theater Festival, and how that came to be was that she just booked a theater, the Dark Horse Theater, in the month of September in 2006. And there were 2 other black-owned theater companies that were booked at that same time, and it was just such a coincidence that there were like 3 black-owned theater companies back to back in this theater. So we decided that we would just help each other promote each other's shows, which turned into us turning it into a festival that is still around all these years later. And Candy was one of the founders. And I want to make sure that because she was involved for the first few years and then she kind of faded back. But I want to keep her name alive and so that people don't forget that she's part of the reason why this festival exists. So, and we're going to honor her at some point later in the month. We're still trying to figure out which day, but we plan on honoring her and presenting her loved ones and just kind of sharing about what she meant to us and what she meant to theater.
Sally, you got any comment?
Yeah, I think it's great. I appreciate Sean for calling in, and we'll be back. We'll let you guys know once we hear back when the dates will be and how she'll be honored. Because that's a great way, and even letting you guys know about the shows that are going on at the Dark Horse Theater and what this theater group is doing is a great way to honor Candy as well, because she definitely cared a lot about the theater. Life got in the way, bills had to be paid, and she had to go to work. I mean, it doesn't quite pay the bills.
Yeah.
So
the term starving artist still holds true to this day.
It does, but I'm glad that we can, people are still alive to tell the story. There is a video somewhere of Gorgeous that people were trying to get our hands on, which was, one of her biggest productions was Gorgeous, and that's the one that was at Dark Horse Theater. My parents actually were able to go and see that show. It was amazing, yes.
Okay.
It was a great show, and I really appreciate, like I said, Sean calling in and giving that information. I also did go to see, and I can't remember, what is the name of that theater, Sean, where here in Murfreesboro, where the play was that you were in here?
You talking about the Little Theater?
Yeah, Murfreesboro Little Theater.
Okay, yeah.
And it's no longer around.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone. They took it down. Yeah. Some people here, I had the mayor here the night when they had some codes problems, and it was a mess. Okay. It was a mess. But the building apparently was in disrepair, so I hear. Okay. I never knew that for a fact. Yeah. But Sean, you remember where it was.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty controversial thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yes. I was I was right here in the middle of it, believe me.
Of course. There couldn't be something going on controversial and Ed's not in the middle of it.
Yeah, so it's got to be. You'll find out, Sean. You stick around. Sean, anything else? Thank you for coming.
That's all. Just thank you for having me, and I appreciate the efforts being made to just keep Candy's name and legacy out there. It's super important. She was a great woman.
We're glad to be able to help him where we can. Thank you, Sean, so much.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right. Y'all have a good night.
Take care. Good night to you. Thank you so much. And with that, Sally, we're going to go to our first series of breaks, and we're going to take a break. Sally Franklin's with us, and we're talking about the memory we're dedicating this show to Miss Candy Robbins and the work she did in the theater and the arts, and we've got some of it sitting right here on the stools for us. And Connor, if you'll take us to our first break, we'll be back right after this. Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Connor's on the board. My name's Ed Raymer, back with you right after this. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
All right, and we are back. Ed Raymer with you. Sally Franklin's with us. We're talking about Candy Robbins, but before we go on, I want to do this. And caller, please hang on the line. We'll be with you momentarily. Hang on, but I've got to do this. This is, and I want to do this for Matt Fee and for the Rutherford County Democrat Party. Matt Fee, the chairman, sent this out, and this is Matt sent as chair of the Rutherford County Democrat Party. We need your voice this week, and here's what you can do. Call Mayor Joe Carr at 898-7745. Of course, it's area code 615. And please tell him you support Commissioner Hope Oliver and want him to push Sheriff Fitzhugh to cancel the 287G. Now, what 287G is a ruling that gives as I understand it, this is me talking now, no one else, the ICE people the authority to come in and start arresting people. These are the people that are in the mask and all that stuff, okay? No other identification. We don't know who these people are. And to come in and arrest people and do whatever with them, whatever they want, send them because of the color of their skin, send them wherever they want. I don't know. But two, we're going to have a county commission meeting Thursday, September 11th, this coming week. It will be at 6 p.m. This is at the historic courthouse, Murfreesboro Square. Get there early and stand with community partners with the Remix Way. REMIX, Remix Way. And sign up for a public comment. Call the mayor's office in advance. That's 898-7745. Get on the list. You may have to go up there and join the Murfreesboro Individual Project this Saturday. That was yesterday. Sorry, that's already gone. And last week it was revealed Rutherford County Sheriff's Office entered into a 287G agreement with ICE and deputizing some local officers as warrant service officers. And this is considered the least intrusive type of the 287G agreement. And we don't want our county tied to the political police force of one Donald Trump. Okay, we'll leave it at that. And across the county, masked and identified agents are disappearing people for no other reason than being undocumented, and they're tearing families apart. Now, these actions, they are creating a chilling effect where victims of crime are too afraid to report for fear of deportation. That puts every community at greater risk. You got people afraid to even go out of their homes. Some people afraid to even go to work. Okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. Be at the meeting Thursday night, September 11th of all days at 6 p.m. This is at the historic courthouse on the square, second floor. And please get there early, okay? And that takes care of that. Matt, if you need anything, give me a call. And we're going to get back now. Sally Franklin. Sally, sorry to do that, but I had to do that, okay?
You know, Candy appreciates it, I can tell. And
I would hope so.
She does.
Yeah, I would hope. Of all nights for I have to make that announcement,
Yeah,
crazy.
I know that she called, what is he now, 47, right?
Whatever, whatever.
She called him Cheeto Pimp. Can I say that on air?
You can say whatever. I don't care.
I don't think that's really that bad.
I know you're going to keep it clean.
But I really want to honor her in saying that is what she called him. And
Cheeto Pimp.
Cheeto Pimp. Yes, that's what she called him. The Cheeto Pimp.
That's the first I've heard that. Write that down, Connor.
Cheeto
I
Pimp.
haven't heard that.
There's some other things that I said during that time, like I called it the Trumpocalypse. But I've
got a lady in East Tennessee, and I can't tell you, but I'll tell you all what it is after we go there. It's pretty bad. I mean,
yeah. It's gone beyond anything that she probably ever could have imagined, and so she would support us going out and supporting our undocumented and documented neighbors. I think to me, I would say that, and I again say this, and I'm sure she. Some of this is like a racist dog whistle. To me, when you're talking about pulling the National Guard in, it's just people just are given a whistle to blow, and so I don't want to get too far off track into that.
Sal, I know I don't want to get sidetracked, but that's not what the National Guard. That's not what they're supposed to do.
Well, right. I mean, they
don't want to do it either.
I don't want to think too much about it because it's terrifying.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, as somebody who's been around the world and understands, I guess, what people think about us as Americans, and I don't know, understanding kind of some of the trickle-down effects, not just now, years from now, thinking strategically down the road.
It will trickle down, all right.
Yeah,
yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. If we can, let's get back to Ken. We've got a couple of callers, I believe.
Okay.
We've got two callers.
Okay,
let's go ahead and go with one. Let's do that. Caller, go ahead. You are on the air. Go ahead, please.
Is it me?
Yes, It's you. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, my name is Nora Canfield, and I met Candy in July of 2008. She came to me for headshots for acting. I'm a photographer, and she was a little late showing up and had to have her husband at the time come and pick up her son from her. And she was a little stressed out, and then he got picked up, and she was just like, oh, I'm so stressed out. Is there any way we could take a little break? And I was like, absolutely. So we went and hung out in my backyard at that time, which is where I grew up at my parents' house, and they have a gazebo and a garden and everything. We just sat out there and talked, and we just hit it off, and we became fast friends since then. And
now your name again is Laura?
No, Nora.
With an N.
With an N.
Nora Canfield?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And,
okay, Nora, go ahead.
Okay. Well, she's just always a light, and just through the years, every time she has come over to hang out at my house, she always brings something for my kids, and me, she was always a gifter. Sally talked about that. at the funeral, because I watched it again today, Sally. And, of course, brought me to tears once again. But, yeah, she was just an amazing human being. She would just give you, if she had it, she'd give it to you. She was always a very thoughtful and loving person. And, you know, I keep her pictures up around my house everywhere because I had made collages for her celebration of life that we did at my parents' house, actually. And she was just incredible. And, you know, she, I think, had an effect on everyone. She was a light, you know, and she's still beaming. I've got a little disco ball on my back porch hanging on my umbrella.
The
so I get
disco
to hang
ball?
out with her every night. Yeah, a little disco ball that she had on her porch. It's now on my porch. And
really?
So, yep.
Now, do you have the colored spotlights you can put on?
No.
Can we come over and dance or anything?
It's not that fancy.
Okay, I want to put you on. Are you on Facebook?
I am.
Which one are you? Well,
she's Nora Digg or Miss Digg Photo also.
Miss Digg, yeah, Miss Digg Photography, MSDIG Photography.
And
I did all these fun photos of her. I don't know, has Ed seen her lollipop photos, Sally?
Yeah, some of the photos that you'll see of Candy where there's a bright orange background or a bright purple background, those are photos that Nora did. So if you go to Candy's page, you can see where Candy's tagged in them too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
where Nora's tagged her in
All
some of
right.
those photos. And we would have girls' nights on Tuesday evenings to when our kids were little, and we would bust out and go to Nashville at Nora's house, and we would have some snackies and to go in the studio and do pictures. And I really don't have this big creative side, and I always say Candy was like the creative side for me, because I'm more like the business person. Let's get down to it. Safety,
yeah,
they call me
you
Safety
are.
Patrol
Yeah,
Sally,
I
and
know
I'm
you- sure.
like the project manager, and she really was my creative side. And so that's who
We got a
Nora
lot
is.
of fun photos.
Lots of fun photos.
I've got to see some of these.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring them up here in front of the cameras, please.
Okay. not all of them can come to the camera. They are not quite. What are those other ones, like expressions and like it's not quite like that with the feather boa, but plenty of fun photos.
A feather boa was involved?
No, I said no feather boa like they did it. What are those photos?
Okay. All right.
But I will say this too. I am also thankful to Candy as well for bringing Sally and our other friend Alon closer together as well, because these two women that were also very close with Candy, I love that we can all like love on each other and relate, and it's definitely been very, very helpful to me, and I hope it's been helpful to them as well.
Nora, I said it already, and not to be repetitious, but I went back and looked last night, and I watched the broadcast that we did together up here in January of 2023, and her eyes, I just couldn't. I said, her eyes said it all right there. I mean,
Yeah.
she was exciting. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And it was just a shock to see that she had left us, and it's terrible. I want to thank you for calling in. Nora, do you have anything else, please? Anything?
Just, hug the people you love,
Okay.
because you never know what's
yeah.
going to happen. And, just appreciate and love on your people.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I don't think that's asking too much. Nora Canfield. Nora, thank you so much.
Thank
Talk
you.
soon, Nora. Bye. And that
Okay.
is,
Bye-bye.
there's a wonderful sisterhood that has been kind of born out of this. Candy really brought a lot of us together in life and in her death. And grief may be something we'll talk a little bit more about. I don't know if you need to take a break soon, but I want to talk a little bit about grief as we get into our middle ages. It's like you plan, you're going to lose your grandparents, then you're going to lose your parents. I don't know that you're
Right.
prepared to lose your friends your same age,
yeah,
right? And
right.
so August of 22 is when my mom died, and she had been sick for years. I'd been taking care of her, and I never really would have thought, we would have been 2 years later and I would have lost Candy, right? I just wouldn't have thought that. And then,
Sure.
it's just, the grief, you have to deal with it. You have to lean into it. You have to accept it, process it. And I was fortunate enough that I wasn't on contract and I was in between gigs that I could just take some time. I had a great friend, shout out to Raphael Wilson. I know he's probably watching. He lives in Chicago, and he came and stayed with me. I have Candy's dogs, and I have 2 big dogs. I talk about that on Facebook a lot. And so he took care of the dogs for me. He cooked for me. He cleaned for me and really took care of me, in some of those weeks and months after Candy died when I just wanted to sleep.
That's a
cry.
true friend right there.
Yeah.
That's
that is a true friend.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage people to understand that grief is normal. Grief counseling is great. I got free grief counseling through hospice when my mom passed away. And I think that it's important that people pull those levers in their lives and kind of get that help that they need to process this, because it's a lot.
We've got another caller on the line. Connor, if you will. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, hello. Is it my turn now?
It is your turn. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, hello, Mr. Raymer. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Same here.
On the air. I am Vita Finley, affectionately known as VV in the arts community. That is the nickname that a person, Candy and I, both shared together as a friend and brother. Michael L. Walker, the founding executive director of Dream 7 Theater Production.
Now, your name is what now? Dee?
Vita Finley, or
Vita.
VV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Vita Finley. Well, Vita, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Now, are you watching on YouTube, or are you just listening on radio?
Well, but it's all black. I've been trying to pull it up, but I'm technologically inclined, so technologically challenged. I'm trying to be technologically challenged. What I'm trying to say.
Okay, well, we're either on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or you can catch us on WGNSradio.com.
Okay.
Tell us your story, please. Share with us.
Oh goodness, gosh, I've known Candy over 20 years. I first met her.
Yeah.
When she was. Well, first of all, let me just say, Michael L. Walker, Elon and Sally and I have talked about that she and Michael are probably in heaven together, writing wonderful stories. Michael, when Dream 7 was founded, the national community really needed, national theater community really needed African-American presence. And he vowed to do more original work. But he only wanted the original works to really be within Dream 7. He wasn't going to be doing any outside projects. Well, I'm proud to say, I want to say, when I first met Candy, I was pregnant with my youngest. So that was about 2002, maybe early 2003, and I've seen her bouncing around, I'm into a couple of Dream 7 shows before that one, which was our signature piece, Coach Millennium. She was hanging around. She was like, wanted to see what we were all about and everything.
Sure. Okay.
And fast forward, started working on Gorgeous with her, and I remember Michael telling me, he said she's got a special spark that I really I want to help her launch the show and get this show going. I said, okay, well, just let me know what you need me to do.
Now, which show was this? Which one?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Okay.
So Gorgeous. So I just want to fast forward and say, I was the executive director of Dream 7 for 5.5 years. I stepped down to take another position, and that didn't work out, but that's fine. I'm still with Dream 7, but I'm the programs, promotions, and development coordinator now for Dream 7, and that's what we primarily do. We help launch original work for playwrights in our local area. But Michael did not like working with outside people. He was not about that at all. In fact, by the time I took over the helm in late 2019, and a little bit before COVID, Dream 7 had only done 2 shows for other playwrights, but Candy was the first. Was what I'm trying to say. She was the first, and he adored her, and we all embraced her because he did, and we embraced the project and helped her get it staged. She really inspired me. I remember when I met Trey, her former husband, that's still a love in her life,
right?
And he was very supportive, but they just appeared to be a power couple. He was all about helping her get into film, and I remember the last time I saw her before she left town, she was talking about I'm going to be trying to do shows in Vegas, and I'm working on film in Atlanta. And she was just, one of the things she said to me, she said, I'm all about throwing it all out there. And I loved her spunk. I loved her energy. And, she was one of the first women in my life to address me as queen. She always called me queen when she saw me. And yeah, she did. And I, the first time she said to me, I was like, are you talking to me? And I was like, hey, but every time I saw her, she would embrace me. Hey, queen, how are you? And all this stuff. And, she, a lot of people, when they find out I did perform on Broadway, were like, oh, wow. But one of Candy's first questions was to me, she said, well, how was it? Is it all the glamour and glitz that people think it is? I said no.
Right, yeah, okay.
It's, and she had really, she was before her time, is what I'm trying to say. She was so creative and so misunderstood in so many circles. Mm-hmm. First of all, I think our sisterhood was also about being misunderstood African American assertive women. When you're assertive, intelligent, creative, as African American, you're viewed as aggressive. And
like you're not supposed to be in that territory. You need to be.
Correct.
You need to bow out of it. Yeah.
Correct.
We're dealing with that with a county commissioner right here, Hope Oliver, that we're talking about right now. Mm-hmm. Now I hate to mix the two together, but it's a fact. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
No problem. Yeah, and I appreciate that you recognize that. Candy was a leader.
Right.
And she in the spaces she walked in, and when she walked into those spaces, she expected to be respected.
Yeah, and I did say that when I honored her. Like, she had such a sweet voice, and she could be so sweet, but don't get it twisted. She would let you know in a minute.
Sure.
Yeah.
In a minute, in the sweetest little voice way, if she didn't like something. And that's what I learned. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from her, how to do that, and I appreciate that about her.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I remember, and I remember during Tech Week of Gorgeous, Michael, he was trying to be helpful. He was being the director, and then she said, well, but if we do it like this, that's going to change the vision of the show. And I remember that because, first of all, at that point in time, as experienced an artist, a performing artist that I was, Mr. Raymer, I was not interested in directing at all.
Right.
I was not. And Candy is one of them is my mentor. Is one of my mentors, Stella Reed. The other was Michael. And then Candy, shortly thereafter, was the third person to tell me, you really need to direct. And I was like, yeah, directing, you've seen the Facebook memes with the emoji with the green stuff. That's how I felt about directing. I was like, I'm not directing. But she saw it in me. She saw it in me. She said, you need to direct. And I said, Candy, you direct. I will support you in any way, but So
right.
then we only stayed in touch through Facebook because she was living in and out of town and all that stuff. And then so I finally ran into her again. I think she came to in 2022. She came to Shades of Black. Mixer. And I walked in the room and I was like, Candy. And she told me that she said, I've been living back in the area for, I said, I didn't know. And how's Trey? And how's, she always called her son Little Man. How's Little Man? And,
okay.
We just got caught up on, our kids and everything. But then I said, what are you doing creatively? She goes, well, I said, well, and at that time I was still executive director of Dream 7. I said, are you interested in doing Gorgeous again? And she's like, her eyes lit up. She said, well, yeah, always. I said, well, let's get together. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. And then, of course, then subsequently after that, I think, she started having some health challenges. And,
right. Mm-hmm.
We just, and then, of course, she declined until her transition. And we were never able to have that conversation to really get it off the ground,
and when she was with me in January of 2023, I got the feeling she didn't really know which direction she wanted. She wanted to do something, but I don't know that she really knew where she wanted to go at that time.
Yeah.
Sally, did you have that?
Well, yeah, I think that
I really
she really
got that.
did.
I
always,
said, what do you want to do next?
Talk about doing something creative and something big is what she really wanted to do.
Right.
And like I said, and when I honored her at her funeral, you got to pay the bills. These things do not,
pay the bills. Right.
They don't pay the bills. And she, found herself as, single mother for a while. I mean, and single, living on her own and, wanted to buy a house and did buy a house and really overcame so much adversity that none of us even know to accomplish what she accomplished. Just to get up every day and put that smile on her face and have that sparkle in her eye. We just don't know what all she was going through to do that and to show that unconditional love. It was
folks, caller, I'm sorry, I've got to let you go.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure meeting you, and I have sent you a friend request on Facebook, and I'd like to follow your show more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for honoring her. We are going to do a tribute. I know Sean Whitzel. I think he was just on. He's going to do a tribute to her during the Shades of Black Theater Festival, which is the 20th anniversary of that. And so thank you so much for continuing to honor her legacy. And I think, unfortunately, even though we can't see it now, I think her greatest act was bringing us all together.
Yeah.
May have been. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. All right?
All right.
Yes. I'll tell you what. Connor, do we have another call?
Yes, we do.
We do? I'll tell you what. Let's do. Hold on that. Let's do our last break real quick. Caller, please hang on. We will get with you in just a minute, okay? Ed Raymer here. Sally Franklin's with me. And Connor's on the board. We'll be right back with you right after this. Stay with us. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and also custom-made jewelry if you want it. they can make it for you. Also, gifts for any and all occasions: weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullis Jewelers, 352 West North Hill Boulevard, right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. All right, and we are back. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, sponsors. We appreciate you all. Thank you, Sally. Thank you for doing this once again. We've got 8 minutes to go. Caller, you're on the air. Go.
Well, good evening. My name is Elon Crawford, and I'm a big crybaby. I knew I was going to do this.
Okay. It's all right. Go ahead.
But I am really good friends with Sally and Nora, who called in earlier.
Right.
I actually headlined Candy's show, Gorgeous. And,
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was my first time headlining a show. And it was really my first time acting in theater. And she trusted me to headline her signature show. And it was the most marvelous experience. When a novice acts, you try to be yourself playing a character.
Right.
Andy, as my director, and you know, co-actor, showed me how to truly leave you outside.
Right.
And become the character.
Right.
And I had the unique experience of being directed by both Michael L. Walker and Candy Robbins as I headlined that show. And I know now what an incredible gift that was. Both of them are gone now.
I bet it was.
You know, both of them are gone now, and I couldn't do that again today if I wanted to. So I am grateful to her for so many reasons, and I feel like Candy picked me like a flower to be a part of her life. I was involved in entertainment, and she walked up to me and she said, "I'm going to put you in my show." She didn't know me from a can of paint.
Well, I think that's something that Ed may not know. Candy was an instructor at IDAT, the Design Institute. IADT, that's where they met. And Candy had also taught at MTSU in the fashion merchandising department at one point.
I have learned way too much tonight.
That was the point of the show, and I'm really glad that we.
See,
that was my goal.
See, the bad news
Sorry
is
to interrupt Alon, but I wanted
right.
him to understand, you know, the overall picture of her career. You know, it spans a lot.
Well, see, the problem with me is I've got to show you all much more respect than I ever have been. And
well, you know, Gorgeous was a show you would have loved it, Ed. You would have loved the show. My father loved it. Lon was she was the headliner, and we'll find the video for you.
What?
It was.
Sally, I got all embarrassed when you said your mama and daddy saw that show. Girl, if I could blush.
I'll tell you, you know, I want to tell both of them. I want to say this. Now, we're down to 5 minutes, but I'm going to say this. You know, so many of our major actors that are in films get $5, $6, $8 million, $10 million a picture. But they go back to live theater to get that feel. George Clooney just did it in, you know, Good Night and Good Luck or whatever. He played Edward R. Murrow. They say there's nothing like being on that stage, and you get no second take. You get no, you know, you're not doing TV or you're not doing a film, whatever, where we can go back and redo it. That is it. Yeah. You are alive. They say in their minds and their souls, they are alive in that moment. Yeah. That's it.
It is incredible, and there is nothing else like it.
Yeah, right. And I mean, here people are worried. You know, these wonderful young people that come in on this board, and when they first get here, you know, they're worried. You know, hey, you know, forget it. It's the Ed Raymer Show. It's live radio. We're gonna mess up. I'm gonna mess up, and I know that. That's okay. When you're on stage, that's a little bit different story. You know.
It's still okay, and you are going to mess up there, too.
Well, it sounds like somebody on the phone is getting the acting bug back, needs to get back on stage herself.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what the next thing is.
Thank you so much.
But I am very grateful to Candy for a number of reasons, and thank you for honoring her and her legacy. Thank you, Sally.
All right.
It is certainly not a problem. Thank you, and thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Sally, we've got less.
Course.
We've got about. Thank you so much. 3 minutes. Sum it up. Tell me what.
Well,
you know, what
again,
you think. I was looking at some of your jewelry and
Michelle.
You know.
Okay, so these earrings were left by Candy for me. Just magically, this was the last piece of jewelry kind of left at her house after she died. So we went to her house while she was in the hospital, and she was nonverbal towards the end, and took pictures of all of her art. And of course, her family came and got what they wanted. And then I'll share on my page and on your page also like a collage of all of her art.
Sure.
We've got some of her
Please
pieces
do.
here.
We've got them here.
Shout out to Regina and everybody at the Murfreesboro Center for the Arts. I want this art up there, so I'm just going to show up one day. I've been kind of calling and emailing, and really want, you know, them to honor this art that Candy painted. It started as like a sip and paint, and it's turned into these major pieces. And that was something that Candy loved to do, you know, to express herself was use her art. I think one of the main themes that I want to say again is unconditional love. Don't wait to tell your family you love them. Don't wait to take that trip. And don't you know, feel like you may have that next opportunity because you just don't know. So, you know, love your friends hard and do things, you know, go out and do things. And especially if you still have your mom and dad, spend that time with your mom and dad. But I want to thank everybody who listened and called in to honor Candy. Definitely will be keeping her memory alive. And yes. I'm so glad that Shades of Black Theater is going to come back into the fold to honor what she started 20 years ago. 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they started in September booking out the Dark Horse Theater.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and it'll live on. So you know she's left plenty of things that will live on. But yeah, these are my Candy earrings. When I want her with me, I take her with me here. She comes to us at the lake as a butterfly. Every time we get there in the car, a butterfly comes. She comes out on the lake, and I know she's better off. I just miss her physically. So thank you again for letting us be here to honor
you are
her.
Welcome back
And I really am excited for people to hear, you know, like I said, some of who she was after college and before the internet.
Oh yes, yeah. Before Facebook and all that good stuff, yeah. Sally, thank you so much. After so many years, it's just a pleasure. I had no idea, and I had no idea that Candy had done this. It's great.
Okay.
And Sally Davis Franklin has been our guest. Candy Robbins. Connor, if you'll go ahead and take us out of here, I'd appreciate it. You know, you never know. Thank you, callers, so much for calling in. And we appreciate you all so much. And, you know, you never know how your life's going to touch other people. You can listen. Folks, if you've been listening, you heard some of these callers tonight. Don't ever sell yourself short, you know, because you never know whose life you're going to touch and how you're going to impact it for a long time to come. Sally, thanks again.
All right. Thank you. Y'all love on each other all week.
Yep.
We need it.
Take care of it. We're going to need it. Yes, we are. And I'll tell you what, till next Sunday at 8 o'clock for the Edwin Lee Raymer Show, I'm Ed Raymer. I'll catch you down the road. Good night.